And one other thing everybody knows about these riots is that it's about social justice. It's about human rights and civil rights. It's about stopping ICE and the Gestapo tactics they're using to tear families apart. That's what it's really all about. Pretty much. Well, it's also about getting a free iPhone. As you saw, the video is courtesy of BG on the scene. It's this guy, Brendan Gutschwager. He does a great job of getting video in the riot scenes. He's like our former colleague here at Town Hall, Julio Rosas, who's gone independent. He does great stuff. He always goes toward the fire. He gets great video content. Go follow him on all of his social media. And he's got a tip jar there, too, if you want to send him a little love. If you had a subscription on X, I would suggest becoming a subscriber. But we appreciate that footage that he caught there because it looked like a harrowing situation. It's amazing. I had no idea that the COVID pandemic was still so bad in downtown LA. They have mask mandates. Is that the situation? It's really horrific that they all have to wear masks still, but you know, that's the situation. Sadly, that darn bat stew in China. Notice how they don't really seem too concerned about the cops showing up. They don't seem too concerned about being caught, and they are stripping bare this Apple store in downtown Los Angeles, taking whatever they want with impunity. I wonder if there were any arrests. I really do wonder. Yeah, this is not about social justice. It's not about immigration. It's not about the border. It's not about tearing families apart. It's not about Trump and the Gestapo. This is about anarchy and tearing down our society. This goes all the way back to Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri, which was all started based on a lie. George Floyd, all based on a lie. It goes back to every single major riot that the left jumps on board with and uses as an excuse to burn down a city and loot stores. When you drill down 6 months later and get to the truth of it, it's always a lie. It's always a fraud. And yet it's the same playbook over and over and over and over again. And who suffers? You want to talk about social justice? You want to talk about fair play? You want to talk about real victims of the machine? Well, then you want to talk about this man, a small business owner in LA.
This is so ridiculous. This doesn't look like this is for they're protesting for ICE or anything. This is they're doing just for the looting the stores and everything. I saw they break into the Apple store, they break into the Adidas store. This is not they're doing protest.
Yeah. Well, you know, that guy's just a redneck right-wing Trump MAGA hat wearing fascist, clearly. You know, the people who claim that they're there to protect people of color and the downtrodden and minorities and people who have come here from another country to make a better life. That's this guy. But he's really pursuing the American dream. He's not out there covering his face and breaking windows and stealing crap. He started a small business. He's an entrepreneur. He wants to make something of his life. He wants to do something with the American dream, not destroy America. If he wants to live in a third world country, he would have stayed where he was. Every single time you see somebody out there saying that they speak up for the downtrodden and the people who are trying to live the American dream by coming here as an immigrant, just remember that guy. Who speaks for him? And he's not alone. The local Fox station in Los Angeles.
We were at the Apple store. We were at the Adidas store. Both of them looted, the glass shattered, a lot of things stolen. And they're big companies. They'll take a hit. But it is the small, the mom and pop businesses that have also been looted that are heartbreaking. Joining me now live, Nimat, his daughter Sheila. They've been in the jewelry business, Nathan's Jewelers, since 1987 here on South Hill. And we're going to show you the shattered glass in just a moment. Nimat, I mean, you have tears in your eyes.
Yeah.
Of what they've done to your business.
What they done to my business? I don't know. I have to go inside see what's going on. I don't know what they done to business.
Right, but you were telling me that why take out whatever issues people have on you, a small business owner?
Not only me. There's a lot of people. There is so many people.
How does this affect you?
Very bad. There is 1 week is a riot and people of the transgender or other things, and they close the business and nobody can come inside. Another day something else. Another day something else. Why they bring them to downtown? Why these people come to downtown? They go to somewhere out of the city limits and they scream at what they want to do. Why they come here?
And why did they affect a small business owner? Sheila, your dad worked so hard, and he was telling me, and he had tears in his eyes earlier, that, you know, the store now, you still have to see the damage done inside. This is a jewelry mart. And we also have video of other stores that were looted overnight. There were reports, Sheila, of up to 100 looters at a time at a jewelry business.
Crazy. Very crazy, very sad, very terrible.
And your dad works really hard. I'm sure you work really hard, too. This is a small family-owned business, and there's no insurance.
No.
How is this going to affect your family?
Really bad. Really bad. People are stupid. What can you do?
And why target you? You have nothing to do with any of this.
I know. I don't know why.
I'm sorry, Sheila. I'm sorry, Nimat. I hope the damage isn't too bad
We
inside.
live in San Bernardino. Chino Hills. It's far away to come in here. And we are scared to drive the car, comes in here, they damage the car. We took the bus at 2 o'clock and we came right now in here.
I hope the damage isn't too bad. Your business was one of many businesses that were looted overnight.
But I don't sell jewelry. I sell like custom jewelry, silver. You know, I'm not a big guy. I'm not a big fish.
You're not a big fish. Well, that's why it hurts even more, because you're not a big fish. You're not Apple. You're not Adidas. And they're going to take a loss, too. I'm so sorry for this. Multiple businesses. There were many arrests made. We're waiting to get those numbers from the LAPD.
Yeah, good luck
Earlier.
with that. Whenever you see Karen Bass, mayor of City of Los Angeles, or Gavin Newsom, the hair gel slime bucket governor of California who wants to be your president, or Maxine Waters, or Kamala Harris, or any of them, when they always say we're a city of immigrants in Los Angeles, we're a state of immigrants, the diversity is our strength in the state of California, we're nothing without immigrants. What about him? What about this guy? He's an immigrant, been here since 86. He's a legal citizen of this country now. You don't care about him, do you? They don't. You heard him saying, why did they come downtown? Why did they come downtown? It's a good question. The first raid on a Home Depot, as I explained, took place in Carson, California. Now, Carson, as I said earlier, is south of Los Angeles International Airport off the 405 heading down to Long Beach, California. It's a good 20 miles from downtown Los Angeles. Paramount, where There wasn't a raid on a Home Depot, but that Democrat assemblyman started the rumor that there was, and the riot started in Paramount. That's in East Los Angeles. It's probably about between 5 and 10 miles from downtown LA. But that's where you saw the people throwing rocks at the ICE agents' cars and dropping things off the overpass of the freeway and all that stuff going on in Paramount. So why last night did they come downtown? Why go downtown? Why go downtown? The answer is because in downtown Los Angeles, you have federal buildings. You have a federal courthouse, the Ronald Reagan Courthouse in downtown Los Angeles. You have a federal ICE detention facility. You have a lot of federal offices in downtown Los Angeles. Here's one of them. As the sun rose this morning on Los Angeles, here's what one of those federal buildings looks like. 300 North Los Angeles Street. That's downtown. You can read everything that happened on that defaced building. That building is closed down today. It's too unsafe for the employees to go to that building today and do the business of the federal government on behalf of the tax-paying public of Los Angeles, California. That building you're looking at, that's a HUD building. That's the Department of Housing and Urban Development. That's the federal building that is positioned in that neighborhood to help low-income homeowners and landlords who cater to low-income homeowners and renters to be able to have decent housing. Last I checked, Los Angeles, they kind of have a housing issue right now. HUD's closed in LA today because of the mob. Because of the mob that was empowered by the Democrats who run that city. And by the way, that federal building and the federal courthouse and the federal ICE detention center and other detention centers and operations in Los Angeles, those buildings are the property of the United States government, not the people of LA, not the taxpayers, not the Democrats who run the city, not the mobs in the street. You own those buildings. Those are your buildings. And when President Trump calls in the National Guard or other members of the military to protect those facilities and protect those buildings and protect the people who work there, he is doing his duty. It's his obligation to protect those buildings on your behalf. You'll remember 4 years ago in Portland, Oregon, during the George Floyd riots, the maniac Antifa mob took over a federal courthouse in Portland. President Trump was advised by someone, I don't know who, I'd love to know who, but was advised by someone that calling in federal troops to protect that federal building in Portland would exacerbate the situation, would actually throw gasoline on the fire, would make it worse. Whoever advised President Trump of that was wrong. You'll remember Senator Tom Cotton actually wrote an op-ed at the New York Times saying, call in the troops now and secure our cities. That's what they're there for. Let's save our country. And for that, he was, well, if you remember right, the managing editor of the New York Times had to resign in shame and disgrace because so many employees at the New York Times were absolutely outraged that a sitting U.S. senator or Republican was allowed to voice that opinion on their pages. That's what's going on in Los Angeles as we wake up this morning. That's what the mob did. They looted stores, they stole, they ruined small business owners' lives. They defaced and ruined federal buildings that are there and set up to help the people of Los Angeles, mostly low-income people in Los Angeles. That's the social justice protests that you're seeing right now. And I say protests, obviously, sarcastically. It's a mob, and these are riots. And they're orchestrated, they're planned, and the Democrats are behind it. You can't convince me otherwise. So the real question is, what about the American people? As they see all of this play out, as they see the violence, as they see what the Democrats continue to call chaos, they keep using that word. Watch for that on cable news. Watch for it. And also pay close attention if the newsreader who's reading the teleprompter, delivering the news, uses that word, because that word is market tested. That word is focus grouped. They have come up with the word chaos as a word that they think resonates with voters because people don't want chaos and they're blaming Trump for chaos. Well, it's definitely chaos there. But it's not the Trump administration's fault for responding and trying to protect federal buildings and protect federal employees and protect federal law enforcement. But how do the American people respond when they see this play out? Is it working for the Democrats? For that, we turn to the very excitable Harry Enton on CNN. He's got the latest numbers.
Immigrant citizens, immigrant voters, foreign-born voters have gone tremendously to the right on this issue in 2024 and 2025 versus where they were in 2020. Closest to or trust more in immigration. You go back to 2020. Democrats, get this, held a 32-point lead on this issue. Immigrant voters were in the Democratic camp. Jump forward to 2024, 2025. Look at that shift, a 40-point shift to the right among immigrant voters. Republicans now lead on this issue by 8 points over Democrats, more so than any other group that I could find. The group of voters who became more hawkish on immigration were, in fact, immigrants themselves, immigrants who are registered to vote in this country.
So that's on that issue. How about how they feel about kind of traditionally, historically about Donald Trump?
Yeah. So, you see this shift and you go, what is going on underneath the hood? Well, take a look, Donald Trump. You remember when he first ran back in 2016, immigrant voters were one of his weakest spots. But look at this. Trump's vote share in presidential elections among, again, immigrant citizens, those who are registered to vote. Look at this. In 2016, he got 36% of the vote. You go to 2020, 39% of the vote. Look at this. In 2024, all the way up to 47% of the vote. Some polls I looked at had him barely losing that vote. Some polls I looked at had him barely winning that vote. Again, there is no block of voters that shifted more to the right from 2020 to 2024 than immigrant voters. And Donald Trump, at least in some surveys, actually won that vote. On average, it's about equal. So there may be all this stuff, right, about undocumented immigrants and Trump being harsh on them, but immigrant voters themselves have increasingly liked Donald Trump and have increasingly moved to the right on immigration into the Republican camp.
Well, then on that, what you're getting at, how immigrant citizens, voters, feel about people in the country illegally.
Yeah, and this is where it all kind of comes together, Kate Baldwin. Look at this. The net favorable rating, immigrants who are here illegally, among immigrant citizens, again, those registered to vote. In 2020, look at this, plus 23 points on the net favorable rating. But look at where we were in 2024, minus 6 points, underwater. So immigrant citizens have become increasingly unfavorable in their views of those immigrants who are here illegally. So I think it's so important when we're talking about this debate from a political angle to separate those out who are undocumented immigrants versus those who are here legally and those who are citizens and those who are voters, because that group of voters has felt increasingly distant from those immigrants who are here legally. And so again, when we're talking about this, at least from a political angle, this is why Donald Trump feels so comfortable, because in fact, amongst the group that you would think that would be most opposed to this, in fact, they become increasingly favorable, not just towards Donald Trump, but towards a Republican point of view on immigration and becoming distant from those immigrants who are here illegally.
That's how the American people are responding. And that's just the polling on immigrants in this nation. I'm just going to say it. You can hold me to it. I don't mind. I don't like making predictions. I'm not in the prediction business. You don't come here for me to tell you what I think is going to happen. You come here so I can tell you what did happen and maybe why it happened and what it means to you. But I'm going to make a prediction. If this continues the way it is right now, if Newsom and the Democrats continue down the path of protecting the criminal foreigners from other countries, and disregarding law and order and protecting American citizens and our rights and the laws of this country, if this is how it continues based on that polling right now, in 2028, California is in play. Think about it. If right now nationwide, Trump's handling of illegal immigration is a 50-50 issue for American immigrants, and we keep hearing California is a state of immigrants. They're the minority majority. It's all the immigrants all the time. As long as the illegal immigrants don't vote, if it's just the ones that are here legally, according to those numbers, California is in play. Mark my words.